Here is Backflip Cat Econ.
Your IB tutor of economics.
Today, we are going to talk about the concept of production possibility curve, which is a concept I found very interesting in economics. So first of all, in this video, we're going to cover the definition, the illustration, and the application of this concept. For the definition, a production possibility curve is a graph showing all possible combinations of two goods that a country can produce with all its resources are fully and efficiently used. In addition, we can use the actual graph to illustrate lots of the other economic concepts. The most important is opportunity cost, which is the value of what you have to give up in order to choose something else. On the PPC, we can explain this through the movement of point along the curve. For example, this curve shows the production combination of good A and B in the country. If the country want to move from point A to point B, they have to give up a certain amount of good A's production as the quantity level of A drop from QA1 to QA2, so that they can gain some output of good B. And we can also see from the graph that because of the slope, the gradient on every point of the curve is different. The opportunity cost is changing also. And this varies from countries to countries. Second, we can explain scarcities through the graph. At point C, obviously this point exceeds the country's limit. As we mentioned in the definition, all the resources are efficiently used, so it is impossible for this country to produce at point C. This definition of scarcity is when the demand of a good or service is greater than the availability of good or service. In this case, the demand of producing or at point C is greater than the availability of the country's production capacity. On the contrary, if the country is currently produced at point D, which is inside the PPC, we can conclude that the country's resources is not fully and efficiently used. And in the real world, all the country is actually producing at this situation, meaning that they're producing within the PPC. This is because there must be unemployment and some production inefficiency during the production. It is believed that through producing on the PPC is always a utopian dream beyond the possibility of the country, and if the country do not engage in international trade. And this part will be mentioned by Richard.
Well, so now I will stalk you through the application of our PPC. So the first application of production possibility curve or production possibility frontier is that it provides a method to determine who should produce what between an international free trade. The whole process is called specialization, and it is based on the comparative advantage. And again, the concept comparative advantage illustrates that a country has lower opportunity cost as one goods production, and our PPC curve can be used to determine who has this comparative advantage, therefore deciding who should specialize in production in one good. Always in this model, the country that can produce with the lower opportunity cost get to specialize in the production. So for instance, if we look at this graph here, PPC1 represents the combination of the production of country 1, while PPC2 represents country 2. We can see that when country 1 produces 0 units of goods B, its production of good A is exceeding the amount of good A country 2 would produce if it does the same thing. So this suggests that the factors of production from country 1 is more suitable for goods A's production and vice versa. This is just a simple way that you can just judge quickly about the condition of specialization. Another way is through opportunity cost, which is a more advanced technique of deciding this. So we can see that in the low level production of good B, when we increase production, you might find the graph a little bit confusing since it's a straight line, but it basically represents constant opportunity cost instead of the gradually increasing one, which we looked at before, mentioned by Kenny. It is curved. So we increase production of good B. We can see that here. The increase of units of good B only causes the production of good A to increase this little amount in country 2, while in country 1, the production of good A will decreases this startling amount, which can be shown by here. So this shows that the opportunity cost of producing good B is smaller for country 2, since it only needs to sacrifice little production from another sectors of the industry. In other words, it is more suitable in producing good B. So it all comes back to one question: why do we do this? Well, it improves efficiency. So just as Kenny had mentioned, by letting everyone doing what they are good at and trade with a price between two opportunity costs, consumers will be able to reach this point C. shows by here, which is originally considered impossible for an economy to achieve, but by trading, we can reach points that are outside the PBC. And also the PBC can be used as an indicator for benchmark or for economic growth, since this line represents the production combination with all resources used for a country. So it sort of established the potential or maximum ability for an economy to produce when, let's say, when there is a technological development and workers become more efficient, then they are able to produce more with the resources, right? Since they are allocated with the highly advanced machines and so on. So PBC shifts outward from PBC 1 to PBC 2, indicating expansion of output and economic development. But opposite things can happen too, but I'm afraid we haven't enough time to discuss today. And that's all for today's in our channel. Thanks for watching.
And don't forget to like and subscribe if this video helps you with your study in IB economics.